This year's Disney D23 Expo was probably the strangest one I have ever seen. Hello everybody and welcome. Has Disney gone creatively bankrupt? Today we are going to break down all of the things that we saw at D23 Expo, all of their big reveals, and we're going to get to the truth behind all the things that are going on over at Disney. So this is going to be an awesome episode as we take a journey into the good, bad, and the ugly. Disney's D23 Expo was August 9th through 11th of this year over in Anaheim, California. I am just getting to this video. I have been traveling all over the place, just have not been able to get to it, and I'll be honest, I had a lot of strong feelings about the things that I saw at D23 Expo this year, and I kind of wanted to let myself cook for a little bit. I just wanted to cool down, chill, really kind of absorb the things that I saw, because my first reaction to some of the things, I was on super high excitement, and then I was on super low lows and depressed, and then there was a lot of frustration that was happening. And I feel like if I had just done this video right out of the gate, it would not have landed well. I feel like I would have been regretful about some of the things that I said. So I'm really glad that I was traveling a lot and having trouble getting time to really put together a video, because I've had time to kind of simmer down and think about it, and some new information has come out since the expo that is giving us a little bit more insight into what Disney is thinking. So let's just jump in. As I've said in past videos, D23 Expo has been this premier event. It's been the place that was really for the fans. It was an event where people could really enjoy themselves, really couldn't wait to see all the cool things that Disney was doing, but it was an event in service of the fans. And in recent years, it's sort of just pivoted, it's changed a little bit more towards just like these, it's almost like a marketing or promotional type event, which is okay, I'm okay with that. But in the last few years, they've done a lot of this blue sky stuff. Which again, I've said a lot about my feelings on blue sky. I'm okay with some blue sky thinking, which is essentially them coming to us and saying, here's some really cool things that we've been dreaming up, even though we may not actually do any of these things, just so you can kind of get a picture on some of the stuff we could do. But along with that was a lot of concrete plans and things that they were intending to implement across the parks globally. But the last couple of years, there's been tons of blue sky stuff, and not a lot of real concrete plans. And that's been frustrating for people because they've been getting excited about the blue sky concepts, and then Disney doesn't do anything with them. Or they get excited about some of the cool concepts that are coming out, and then when Disney actually executes them, they've been kind of a letdown because they haven't really matched the concept art. Conversely, if you look at Epic Universe and the things Universal has been doing, a lot of the concept art, a lot of the things they've been talking about and announcing, not at a D23 Expo, but just announcing to the world, has actually been coming to life, and it really mirrors the things that they're doing. It doesn't feel like they're over-promising. It feels like they're really doing it. We'll see when Epic Universe actually comes out, whether or not it lands, but so far, from all the video I've been taking and all the construction updates I've been going over there to do, it looks pretty much dead on the concept art. So I'm very excited about it. So what we expect from Disney, which is the premier theme park in the world, a theme park company in the world, we expect a level of rigor to be brought to the things that they're talking about, and not just throw out these wild speculations, almost like the junk drawer of all these cool concepts they've been thinking of, and then not actually land any of them or just throw them away and then do something else. And that's one of my biggest frustrations with this year's event, is that as more information has come out since the event, it seems like this was almost thrown together with no creative vision, even relying on concept art from years ago. It just seems odd. It almost feels like Disney, it's like throwaway. I don't know if they just don't have the money, if they just don't have the talent there anymore. I don't know what it is, but it just felt really strange to me and off. And we're gonna go through some of those things as we go through this video. But let's start out on a high note, because there were some really cool things that were announced at D23 that I am excited for, and I think they will be good adds to the park. And they seemed like they were relatively well done and put together, and concrete plans that are going to be happening. The first thing is the new nighttime parade, which we did predict. We did a prediction video for D23. We were pretty on the money for a few of the things, but there were some wild card things that I don't think anybody was expecting. But the new nighttime parade, that's pretty exciting for me. I was hoping for a Spectro Magic 2.0. Doesn't look like it's going to be that, but it does look like it's going to be a lot of fun. Nighttime show. You see characters like the fairy godmother. You've got Mirabelle and Encanto there. You've got Peter and Wendy. Frozen, of course, is going to be a staple item in this parade. And I'm really pumped for it. It looks great. The concept art looks awesome. I'm sure it won't look as good as the concept art, but it does look like they've at least put some time and thought and energy into it. And I really feel like that has been something that's been missing from Magic Kingdom, the experience, is that nighttime parade. I love those. I just feel like it brings so much fun. So that's definitely one of the good. Another announcement is the Pirates Lounge, which is going to be replacing Tortuga Tavern there in near Pirates of the Caribbean. And I think this is okay. It's not like super exciting for me because we don't have a lot of details on what it's going to be. I suspect it's going to be like an Oga's Cantina type experience. Probably hard to get into in the beginning. It's very easy to get into Oga's now. I don't think it has nearly as much demand as it used to. But just being able to kind of fly in, 45-minute experience. Some things look like they're going on the stage there. Kids can participate. Maybe have some snacks and drinks and just kind of an in and out experience. I think that looks pretty fun. Not a huge lift for Disney. This isn't like a significant investment for them. They're not going to be spending a ton of money on this. So just kind of a nice little interesting refurb that's happening. So nothing super exciting, but at least it looks reasonable. Like they've put it together. It's concrete plans. I think it'll be a nice little addition. I'm good with it. They also announced that they're going to be bringing the Mandalorian and Grogu version to Smugglers Run. This is an interesting one for me. I think it's kind of a no-brainer. It's almost like Star Tours. Like they should just be consistently updating these and adding new things into Smugglers Run, just like they do with Star Tours. I still think they need to do the same thing with Soarin'. Like just keep updating Soarin'. Like give us something new every year or two. It's not that heavy of an investment. It's something super easy. I'm cool with it. The only thing that I'm not loving about the sort of Grogu and Mandalorian being brought into that is Disney is continually going back on what they said Galaxy's Edge was supposed to be. They were all about the theming and trying to keep it to the period appropriate time, which is why we don't see characters like Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader and those characters in this universe. We don't see them in Galaxy's Edge, which I find to be a miss because I personally love the original trilogies, or the original trilogy, and I miss those characters. So we only get characters from the latter, the last three trilogy, if you will, that sort of time frame. Galaxy's Edge time frame is supposed to be between the Last Jedi movie and the Rise of Skywalker movie, which was around 34 ABY. That's what they built the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge sort of hotel experience about. That's what they put into the parks, and they were really hard on like, this is why these things aren't in here, because it's during this period only and we don't want to break that immersion. But then as soon as Mandalorian became super popular, what did they do? They added Mandalorian into the park. Temporarily, he was kind of walking around. It's not that I'm not a fan of that. It's just they were really holding to this like immersion and storytelling line until it wasn't profitable for them anymore. And then they said, ooh, we can make some money off this. We can get people excited. Let's go ahead and just throw that all out the window. So I still think that's a good ad. I'm glad that they're doing it. I think they need to do it. It's still a little bit weird to me, but I'm going to put it in the good column. Now I'm going to move down the spectrum a little bit and talk about some of the things that I feel like are good, but they're not quite as good because there's some weirdness happening. So let's go through those. The next thing is Zootopia, the replacement for Tough to Be a Bug. I'm not saying that I love Tough to Be a Bug. I'm not gonna lie, at Animal Kingdom. I mean, it's cute, it's fun. I go in there once in a while because I want some air conditioning or there's no line and there's long lines for everything else. And I'm like, it's cute, I like Tough to Be a Bug, it's fine. It's an older IP, fine. And they're replacing it with Zootopia. I don't get the love for Zootopia, personally. I have never really paid much attention to it, but I guess it's popular, because they keep talking about Zootopia and people get so excited. They're like, I want a Zootopia land. So apparently there's a lot of people that love it. For me, I don't really care that much. So it's kind of a wash. It's like, cool, we're getting something different there. I could take it or leave it. I like Tough to Be a Bug, but I'm not so wedded to it. I'm not going to die on that hill. Then we've got the Epcot Lounge, the new Epcot Lounge there at the back of Spaceship Earth. Not super exciting to me either on that one because A, it's already there. It's been there, and they're just basically finally doing something with it, refurbing it, doing something different. It's kind of a reminder to me of the things they were going to be doing with the reimagining there in the center, and then they totally bombed on it and cut it and ended up not doing some cool things in that space. And so now they're doing this sort of lounge, which again, not a lot of details. I don't know if it's going to be a DVC specific lounge or some sort of special VIP thing or pay place. I don't know. I have a high suspicion that I'm not going to get a lot of value personally out of that Epcot Lounge, so it's not like super exciting to me, but whatever. Cool. It's a small lift, not spending a lot of money on it to do this. Why not? Now let's talk about the Coco attraction that's going to be going in Disney's California Adventure. I'm only mentioning this because I really want to stick to Disney World specifically, but I'm only mentioning this one because it is possible that they're building this over in California Adventure, thinking about maybe retheming the attraction in Mexico. And I really like the Grand Fiesta attraction in the Mexico Pavilion. I think it's cute. I like Donald Duck. Would I be okay with it replacing the Coco? Yeah, sure, why not? I mean, I love Grand Fiesta. I don't think it needs to change. Maybe just kind of update it a little bit, but it's cute. Adding another IP, while I am not a super huge fan of continuing to blast the parks with IPs, I do love Coco extremely, like, humongously greatly, so I would be okay with them replacing Grand Fiesta with Coco. So I'm just going to mention that as maybe a possible good, even though that's Disney's California Adventure. They could just kind of be like testing the waters and thinking, hey, what if we maybe did this in Mexico? I would be okay with it. And then we have the big one, which is the unexpected. Nobody had this on their bingo card for the year, which is the Monsters Inkland and roller coaster. Nobody was expecting that at all, and man, has that caused a lot of drama. Why? Because everyone is worried about Muppets going away. I've been saying it from the beginning that they're going to put something in that space. I was thinking maybe Villains Land could go over there in Animation Courtyard of Hollywood Studios. It makes sense. There's space for it. They could do an indoor sort of dark area with all those warehouses there. Sounds like that's probably where the Monsters Inc. Land and the roller coaster and stuff are gonna go. I am excited about it because I like Monsters Inc. I think the roller coaster looks pretty cool. It's gonna be their first sort of like hanging real roller coaster like that, and I am excited. I don't think it's gonna be like a small kids ride. I think it's gonna require you to be like, you know, I don't know, 48 inches or higher or something like that. So it's more of an adult ride, even though it's kids themed. But I'm excited about it. But what's really been coming up is people were saying it's gonna replace Muppets, and they're really scared about that. And I get the whole reasoning behind the Muppets and the love and Jim Henson's last thing and all this sort of thing, and I'm totally cool, and I like the Muppets show. And the reason that people are saying that it might go away is because of the concept art. Again, this is an odd thing that Disney has done. And again, I want to go through it. They had two big pieces of concept art. One was sort of very generalistic, you know, wide shot. You could see Monsters Inc. Land, got the roller coaster in there, and it looks fine. You know, they're cool. Yeah, you could see that kind of going wherever. They haven't said where it's going to go, but it could go pretty much wherever. The problem comes in the second piece of concept art, because in that one you can clearly see the water tower there on top of Pizza Rizzo's. It's very clearly in the shot. It's quite obvious. And so everyone immediately is thinking, oh my gosh, Muppets and the courtyard there and Pizza Rizzo and all that stuff is gonna go away. And there's a lot of panic about it because people love the Muppets attraction. I don't really personally care about that space that much. I do like the Muppets attraction, but like the space with Pizza Rizzo's, like I still think they missed out. They should have, why didn't they do a Pizza Planet in the Toy Story area? Like, why did we not get a real Pizza Planet? Like, come on, we need that. But the point here is the concept art. And I think and you can even see like there's a signature at the bottom of that concept art that I think says 2020 or something, which just goes back to like, this was something that they had thought of at one point, and they had concept art, and they probably were thinking it was gonna go there where Muppets goes, and then they whipped up a different concept thing that could be anywhere, you can't really tell. But to me, the fact that they showed both of those, and one was from like 4 years ago, and one was from probably more recently, like, it doesn't give me a high level of confidence that they really actually have like solid plans around this land. But we did get the roller coaster like model, which is encouraging in the fact that it seems like it's a little bit further along than like, we just dreamt this up. So they have something to show. But I'm still a little bit just kind of weirded out by the whole thing. I feel like they just aren't as buttoned up. And I don't get it, because Disney is usually pretty good about that stuff. And again, it just felt blue sky to me. It almost felt like it was teetering on blue sky again. I think they've sort of tried to address it online, which is like by saying they haven't decided where it's gonna go. Like, why haven't you decided? Like, Josh D'Amaro got up on the stage and said, we're not doing anything blue sky. Everything that we're gonna present today is, it's like, we have solid plans around this. We're breaking ground. We're building these things. We're creating these things. Doesn't really sound like it to me. It sounds like you're still like trying to figure stuff out. So, I don't know. It's just, again, weird. Now let's talk about the Tropical Americas. This is probably the most far along thing that they announced. And I believe they said nothing is going to be happening. At the earliest, we'll probably start seeing some of this in 2027. Which, I mean, that's like 2 years after Epic Universe opens is when we're going to start actually getting some new stuff from Disney. 2 years after Epic Universe. By the time Disney starts creating some stuff and actually releasing some new things to the public, Epic Universe is already going to be on to new expansion pads and updating things in Universal and Islands of Adventure. So I don't know. It's a little bit like they need to get the hustle going here. But my biggest thing about the Tropical Americas, while I do think it's interesting, we've already known about this. This is not new information. They've been talking about it for 2 years. 3 now. Like, this is the 3rd time that they've talked about it at least a high level at D23 Expo. And we've seen nothing done. Nothing. Like, you've talked about it for 3 years. Like, are we actually going to get something or not? So, I don't know. They did have a little bit more details on the actual rides. So we've got the Encanto sort of family madrigal. You've got the house there, which is cool. Can't really tell what kind of, I think it's going to be like a trackless ride, like Remy's Ratatouille. That's going to be probably the ride system, which I think is exciting because I love Encanto, and I think that's going to be a great attraction. 100%. It's just replacing nothing realistically. But then they also said where Triceratops Spin looks like it is, they're actually going to be putting a carousel there, which, whatever, a carousel, fine. I'm not super excited. I know they've showed us some of the like vehicles for the carousel and it looks cute. I think we got to see Kevin, which is kind of cool, but it's a carousel. But the biggest negative for me is Indiana Jones replacing Dino Land. So again, while this is exciting, because Dino Land for me, I don't know. I'm not a fan of the Boneyard. I think the Boneyard is garbage. Like the kids' playground area, Boneyard is garbage. The Jurassic playground in Islands of Adventure is like phenomenal. Like it's got caves and mist and lighting effects and water guns and all kind of cool stuff. Boneyard is garbage. Get rid of it. I mean, I do think we need more play areas for kids, but to me, Boneyard is eh. But it's the loss of the dinosaur ride that has really got me down. And I'm gonna go back to this again. Why do we keep replacing stuff? Like, why do we have so much land at Walt Disney World and we're just keep replacing stuff? This is like attractions that are beloved by people. Like, people love Dinosaur. I don't get it. Like, use the space. Stop replacing stuff. To me, it's cheap. It's a cheap way to replace something. It's a lot cheaper to replace than it is to build something new. So I just keep going through my mind of like, Disney having money problems? Are they, I know their stock is down. I feel like the whole issue with the legislation and the Reedy Creek and all that stuff has put them behind. They haven't been able to do a lot of new stuff. They've just been finishing plans they already had in progress. So yeah, I don't know what to think about it. I think overall Tropical Americas is a bonus add, but I don't like the fact that they're killing Dinosaur to add Indiana Jones. It just feels like a loss to me, but hey, you know what, whatever. The Indiana Jones attraction, it's gonna be Mayan or whatever, it's gonna be different, even though it's the same exact ride vehicle path. It'll be fine, but I don't think anybody honestly was asking for Indiana Jones. I don't think anyone was asking for Dinosaur to go away. And to me, I just gotta keep asking the question to Disney, what are you thinking? Like, nobody asked for these things. I don't get it. We've been asking for a lot of stuff. These aren't the things we've been asking for. But overall, I'm still going to land that one in the good-ish column. I think it's still a positive overall. But now let's talk about the bad. The bad and the ugly. We've landed in that portion of the show. And I'm just going to start out with the Cars Land fiasco. This is like the fiasco of fiascos. This is almost up there with the Tiana's Bayou replacement for Splash Mountain fiasco. I'm not saying anything positive or negative about it. I'm just saying it's been a fiasco. But Cars Land has been a disaster. I do not think that Disney was thinking that the backlash that has happened around Cars Land was going to happen. And it all centers around the fact that they are going to basically pour concrete and fill in the rivers of America and Tom Sawyer Island and completely replace it. Okay. And you might be asking yourself, and who cares? I don't really care about Tom Sawyer Island. Like, I go over there periodically. I've done videos. You can go back. You can't tell me that I'm not one of the people that doesn't go over there and enjoy Tom Sawyer Island, so I don't have a right to say anything. I do have a right to say something because I go over there quite often because I kind of enjoy the space. But I'm not tied to it. I'm also not tied to the ferry. I rode the ferry maybe 2 years ago, and it was horrendous. I hated the experience, and I was like, this thing is really slow. It's very hot. I'm not enjoying this. Why am I on this thing? I could care less if I ever do the ferry again. It's not about that. It's not about the attraction. It's not about, it's about the visual aesthetic that water and those trees and that land brings to Frontierland and Liberty Square. It is a very specific visual picture that fits very well with that space. Back in the day, Imagineers and Walt himself thought about all the little nuances about what you were going to see, sight lines, if you're standing in line at Haunted Mansion, what is going to be next to you, what's the experience going to be, you know, are you going to hear a bunch of pew, cap-cow, cap-cow, cars driving by, or are you going to hear nothing except the silence of water trickling to your side and a ferry kind of coming by periodically and just some ambient noise. The other thing about Cars Land is there's two attractions. One's like a kid's car thing, and then the other one is basically Radiator Springs from Disney's California Adventure Disneyland area. It's basically going to be the same exact ride. It's like Test Track except side-by-side racing, and it's going to be off-road vehicles instead of little racing cars. So, again, nothing like super new to the table there. Like, I've ridden Radiator Springs. I've ridden Test Track. Cool. I don't know why we need another one of those in Magic Kingdom. So, whatever. But here's the thing. Again, this felt totally blue sky to me again. We're not going to do anything blue sky. Everything is we're laying concrete and we're putting plans together. We're starting to dig. I don't think so. Cars Land looked to me like something they just dreamt up, threw together at the last minute, and slapped it out there and said, isn't this exciting? We're expanding Magic Kingdom. And so when I look at this concept art, I see these giant snow-capped mountains. I see all the picturesque water is completely gone. They've slammed these cars things in there. It just doesn't feel like it fits that well. I'm not saying Disney can't pull it off and make it look nice, because if you've been to Disney's California Adventure and Disneyland, they've got some pretty cool things there, but I will say my negative for Disney's California Adventure and Disneyland is that it feels like a hodgepodge experience. Like, you literally walk 10 feet and you're in a different space. You can see weird things because they don't have any space there. It makes sense. They're doing their best with the space that they have, which is very limited. So you can kind of give them a pass on the fact that the sight line isn't so great when I go around the corner and I see this giant Matterhorn and right next to it I got this fantasy experience 2 feet away. You give them a pass on it. You don't need to give them a pass on Magic Kingdom, which is the marquee park of all of Disney and has plenty of space to do whatever they want with. And you're telling me crushing an entire area with concrete and cars, you needed to do that? Why? I don't get it. It just doesn't make sense to me. Again, I'm not tied to Tom Sawyer Island, but could you do something with Tom Sawyer Island that could be cool, that could actually draw people over there? Maybe make a bridge over there. Get rid of the ferry. I don't care about the ferry. Keep the water. Get rid of the ferry. Make a bridge over there. Use that island for something else that might draw people in. Maybe you have some sort of cool like treehouse restaurant over there or something. I don't know. Do something that doesn't crush the sight lines. It doesn't crush the beauty and majesty of that entire area. I don't get it. I'm missing the connection there. Again, and it also felt very blue sky. One of the things that's really weird is in the concept art, it looks like some of the Frontierland buildings aren't even the buildings from Magic Kingdom's Frontierland. They're actually the buildings from Disneyland Paris's Frontierland. How does that happen? Why do we have one of the buildings that looks like it's the Lucky Nugget from the Disneyland Paris, right where the Country Bear Jamboree is supposed to be? Why is that there? Again, it just feels like last minute throw together. Or was this a concept that they put together for Disneyland Paris and then decided to just chunk over and say, no, it's for Magic Kingdom? I don't know. Again, it just feels unpolished, blue sky. They don't have their ducks in a row and they're trying to throw things out because they don't know what to do. Like, Disney is so panicked right now with Epic Universe coming and all the backlash that's been happening around Tiana's and other things. They're just throwing darts against the board and hoping something sticks. And a lot of the Disney fans are seeing right through it. And it's actually really sad to me because I'm such a fan. And the other thing about the Cars Land is now it seems like Disney might be backtracking on it. Like, they've actually been listening to the backlash and they're thinking, ooh, we weren't expecting that. Maybe we shouldn't do that. Like, does that feel like they have solid plans around the Cars Land? If they're thinking maybe we should maybe not do that and do something else? I mean, I would think if they had all the permits filed and they were ready to start digging, that they'd be pretty much past that point right now, and they'd just be like, sorry, if you don't like it, we've got to do it. Now they're like, oh, wait a minute, maybe I'm hearing rumors that maybe they're not going to do it, which again, was it really well thought out if you're thinking maybe we shouldn't do it? I don't know. But now let's talk about the last thing, which people were so pumped about when they announced this. I was not one of those people. I was excited in theory, but not excited in what I actually saw. And that's the Villains Land. First things first, they're adding Villains Land to Magic Kingdom? What? Huh? Like, how many things does Magic Kingdom need? Why do we need a new Cars Land and a new Villains Land in Magic Kingdom? Magic Kingdom has the most attractions of all of the parks. They've already got 23-ish attractions. Epcot has 11, Hollywood Studios has 10, and Animal Kingdom has like 8. So once you add the cars and the villains, like, Magic Kingdom is gonna have almost more attractions in it by itself than all the other parks combined. I don't get it. I do think Villains Land makes sense in Magic Kingdom because you have Fantasyland, Villains Land. You could kind of put them right next to each other. Maybe you can have some sort of portal between the two, or maybe the train connects them in some way. I don't know. Okay, I get it. It makes sense. But like the Cars Land thing, like, how many things do we need in Magic Kingdom? I don't get it. Again, it just feels like they're just reaching and they're throwing everything they can at the wall. But here's my biggest issue with Villains Land. It was so blue sky. I mean, it was so blue sky. We got one single piece of concept art with a bunch of stuff in it. Now there is, in the concept art, you can see this cool looking kind of like roller coaster thing and some water and the castle in the background. Again, it looks cute in the concept art, but like, I don't know, are they gonna be able to pull it off? But again, it just felt blue sky. I'm sorry. And the speculation at this point is it's gonna go somewhere behind Thunder Mountain, which again will be touching the Cars Land that they're gonna add there. I don't like the fact that it felt very blue sky. It didn't feel like there was anything they've been doing. And they've been teasing us with Villains Land for years. And we've yet to see anything. I was at Magic Kingdom the other day. I looked over there. I didn't see any, you know, bulldozers or land movers doing anything back in that space. Didn't see anything. So when are we gonna build this? When is this happening? So I gotta think that the Villains Land, the only reason that it's really been surfaced again in this is because they knew people would be super excited about it again. And people keep falling for this again and again. Every year they show something about villains and everybody goes crazy and they're like, yes, finally villains, and then they don't do anything with it. I got to assume it's because Epic Universe's Dark Universe has been announced and people are going crazy for it. It's become one of my most highly anticipated lands, which I didn't think it was gonna be. And they're like, oh my gosh, what do? We have to combat Dark Universe and Epic. I know, we'll just talk about villains again. And maybe we'll actually do it this time. Now there's a couple of other things that land in the ugly column, which is, I don't know why we didn't get an update on Tiana's Palace, the restaurant that we've been speculating is going to be going in their Pecos Bills area, somewhere that we were going to get Tiana's Palace. No update on that. That's weird. Secondly, no update on the Play Pavilion or Wonders of Life. Are they going to do anything with the Wonders of Life or Play Pavilion? They scrapped that, and we haven't heard a word about it. So I'm surprised that they didn't mention anything about that. We heard nothing about a Spaceship Earth overhaul, which was supposed to be under refurb years and years ago, and because of COVID, they put the kibosh on it. We didn't hear anything about a Spaceship Earth overhaul. And now combining all of that weirdness with the fact that we got, I feel like 90% was just listening to music and people singing, and less than 10% was actually content during D23 for the Parks and Parks panel. I just don't know what Disney's doing. I'm a little bit confused. I'm really in your corner, Disney. I'm trying to see the vision. It just feels like you're creatively bankrupt right now. Like you don't know what to do. You're reaching, you're grasping at straws. You're hoping something sticks. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if Universal hired all of your great Imagineers. Something's going on. It's disappointing. I do think there was some great stuff in D23, the Expo. I am happy about some of the things. I'm excited, but I wasn't like super jazzed as everybody else. I just feel like it's not there. Too many blue sky concepts still. I don't have a lot of faith. You're backtracking on stuff. You got old concept art. You're replacing stuff instead of using the space that you have. I don't understand. It's just odd. So I'm a little bit worried. Actually, scratch that. I'm a lot worried. And I love you, Disney. I'm in your corner. If there's anything I can do to help, man, just like come out with some great information. I'll give you some love on these videos. I'm sure you don't care at all about what one person says like me, but I don't know. It is what it is. Let me know what you all think about it in the comments. Did you watch D23's Expo Parks panel? Are you excited? Do you feel the same way as I do? Any information you have, I'd love to hear from it. I'll add it. So again, apologies for getting this video out so late. I've just been totally swamped. Anyhow, appreciate everybody watching. Be sure to tune in to some more exciting videos coming up soon. Shouldn't be any more delays. We should be back on track now going forward. Got some more exciting stuff coming up about Epic Universe and a cool comparison I'm going to do between Villains Land and Dark Universe, which I'm excited about. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and tell all your friends about how awesome this channel is. Awesome. Anyhow, until I see you next time, the noble way is the easy way. Bye-bye, everybody.